Tonight, the Flinders Street rampage driver revealed as a drug user with mental health problems. Australia's biggest ice bust, $1 billion, more than a tonne of the drug found on a boat. Mission complete. Australians begin heading home as the RAAF's fight against ISIS comes to an end. Double demerits and a rush for holidaymakers, sure signs that Christmas is upon us. And the death of Wallabies legend Ken Catchpole at the age of 78.
This is 9 News Riverina with Vanessa O'Hanlon.
Good evening. He's the man accused of ploughing an SUV into crowds of innocent people outside Melbourne's Flinders Street station. Tonight, the victims are all still in hospital and Saeed Nouri is in police custody waiting to be questioned.
The first pictures of Saeed Nouri after he allegedly inflicted horror in the heart of Melbourne.
The driver of the car will spend tonight in police custody waiting to be questioned. Our reporter Alexis Dage filed this report outside court a short time ago.
Police haven't laid any formal charges against the driver allegedly responsible for yesterday's events, but about 4:30 this afternoon, Homicide Squad detectives took him from police headquarters to the custody centre here.
Former Army General Jim Molan was today confirmed as the Senate replacement for the Nationals' Fiona Nash, who was a victim of the citizenship fiasco. Mr Molan had a distinguished career as a soldier and was at one stage Chief of Operations for coalition forces in Iraq. He is a close ally of former Prime Minister Tony Abbott. A high-speed chase has resulted in a 19-year-old man being charged with several serious offences while he was on bail. Jasmine Buck has this report.
Police were called out to Sepik Street here in Ashmont just before 2 a.m. yesterday following reports a full blazer was driving recklessly in the area.
Jasmine, thank you. A Good Samaritan in Griffith has fallen victim to a callous attack. He stopped to help a man lying on the road on Griffin Avenue when he was hit on the back of the head by another man and robbed of his wallet. Police are appealing for information. Reflecting on a busy 12 months, our local politicians are looking forward to stepping into 2018. They say they're confident the Riverina will continue to flourish with plenty of exciting projects in the works.
It's the most exciting time our city has ever experienced. The words of Mayor Greg Conkey reflecting on what's been a big year.
And at Christmas, it's easy to over-cater for guests. For those of us with eyes a little too big for our stomach, experts have some tips on just how long we can keep serving up those leftovers.
With Christmas comes food and lots of it. But when it comes to leftovers, there are plenty of risks.
Shoppers are being urged to take extra care this Christmas, with scammers likely to strike during the festive season, especially when it comes to making purchases online or over the phone.
Never give out your banking details to anyone over the phone that you can't verify their identity. People shouldn't be asking for bank details over the phone.
Residents who usually have their bins collected on Mondays are being urged to put them out tomorrow instead. Council has confirmed there will be no curbside waste collection on Christmas Day. Similarly, there will be no collections on New Year's Day, with that replacement pickup scheduled for the 30th of December. Still to come, a mystery woman pulled unconscious from water in Botany Bay. Dozens killed in a fire at a fitness centre. Why more Australians get prostate cancer than our Asian counterparts, and how men can reduce the risk. And we meet the cricketer who's using his experience to change young lives. To breaking news now, Sydney's North Shore, where a man has fallen from a cliff onto rocks at Clontarf. The 37-year-old is conscious and breathing, however the extent of his injuries are not yet known. New South Wales police have arrested dozens of people and seized illegal weapons during a 5-day operation of the Anti-Bikie Task Force. Jane Azapati has the details.
This was an operation designed to break criminal connections, largely targeting people on bail or parole for previous offences.
Inglis's next champion could well be a product of Warwick Farm. Chris O'Keefe, 9 News.
Maybe the big wedding of the year next year could change their venue.
Maybe.
What's happening in sport, Mike?
Well, Mitchell Starc is in doubt for the Boxing Day test. Vanessa, coming up, Mitchell Starc at odds with selectors ahead of the Boxing Day test on Tuesday. Also, the Rugby League transfer market still in overdrive, 3 days out from Christmas. And Tim Cahill, what's he doing at Sydney FC training? Breaking news in cricket first, and wicketkeeper Tim Paine is in doubt for the Boxing Day test. Paine hasn't travelled to Melbourne, instead staying in Hobart to deal with a family emergency. He'll make a decision on his availability in the coming days. Meanwhile, Mitchell Starc's place in the team is also under a cloud. He wants to play, but selectors are worried about his injured heel.
While David Warner arrived in Melbourne side by side with Wolverine, it may be Mitchell Starc who'll need the superpowers if he's to shed his crutches and play in the Boxing Day test.
Now staying with football, Canberra United have received a welcome boost with Ashley Sykes back on her feet and training. An ankle injury saw the star striker miss out United's clash with Sydney FC. Now, after the break, the look of love, the official engagement portraits of a prince and his princess. Also, Christmas commercials, the billions spent trying to get us to buy, and Gavin with all the Christmas weekend weather.
To finance, and the trading session before Christmas ended on a positive note. The All Ords up 11 points. And one Aussie dollar is buying 77.15 US cents and 87.47 Japanese yen. Christmas is here. Let's get the forecast. It's good evening to Gav.
Thank you, Vanessa. Good evening. Christmas, well, it is here. It is the Christmas weekend and it's going to get very hot, but we do have a change that is coming through to cool things down a little bit for Christmas Day. Temperatures back up and over 30 degrees again right throughout the plains. As we move towards the slopes, temperatures mostly maxed out into the high 20s throughout today. All of the wet weather has been focused around the northeast corner of the state, extending along that trough line to the Gulf Country, the top end and the Tiwi Islands getting somewhat wet. Underneath this slow moving northwest moisture feed, clear, dry and sunny right throughout the local area of the Riverina, the Central West Plains and right along the southern New South Wales and Central Ranges. Now you've got the northerlies kicking in and so too the heat. The rain again remains focused over the northeast corner of the state. There's our change that is coming through on Christmas Eve and that is going to cool conditions, triggering some showers and thunderstorms, but mostly towards the mountain areas and the western slopes. We won't see much activity at all across the Riverina or the plains. The inland areas are not going to see much in the way of storm development from this system. So heating up ahead of its arrival. The same goes for Sydney. It's going to be cloud affected and wet for Brisbane underneath that slow moving trough line. Temperatures back up around 40 degrees for the red centre, and in the west it's hot and more storms, of course, each and every afternoon across the top end. It is going to be fine, mostly sunny, dry and hot tomorrow for all. Right across the plains, to the slopes, the ranges and to the Blue Mountains. Taking a look at the thermoscale and the winds, and you can see why. It's the west northwesterlies dominating, sea breezes drawing in along the coastal fringe, but right throughout the inland areas from the mountains to the western slopes out over the plains, it's going to be fine, mostly sunny, dry and hot. Cloud beginning to increase as that next system begins to approach. So a little bit of cumulus cloud formation, but mostly around the mid-30s. It's going to be a warm one indeed to begin the Christmas weekend. Taking a look further north, it's the same story right across the Central West Plains. We've got a hot one on the way, back to the mid-high 30s, over 30 degrees for Orange, Bathurst, to the Blue Mountains. Also feeling the heat throughout tomorrow. It's a little bit of a scorcher to begin with. Sun will be up at about 5:45. It was the longest day of the year as far as sunshine is concerned. A beautiful moon phase from now until the new year. The next full moon comes up on the 2nd, so a great moon phase leading up to the holiday period. Very, very hot. Little bit cooler there as we move to Boxing Day and early next week for the Riverina, but that southerly having very little to no impact. Slightly cooler conditions there as we move into Christmas Day. But very hot Christmas Eve. That change coming through and affecting the tablelands with afternoon showers. We may have some storms lingering on Christmas Day, but otherwise it is going to be predominantly fine and a little bit cooler, and then it's going to warm back up again as we move through next week. For Dubbo and Central West Plains, really hot Christmas Eve, change pushing through overnight. Christmas Day, somewhat is going to be...
Thanks, Gav. Enjoy your break. A few Christmas messages to end with tonight, from tear-jerking tales to big budget blockbusters, all part of a multi-million-dollar Christmas advertising push. And it appears we have a few technical issues there. We'll just wait and see what's happening next. I guess that's it for 9 News for this Friday. No, we'll go to the Christmas ads right now. Let's check them out. It seems we are having some technical issues. So let's just wrap it up for tonight, and Layla is coming up next with a current affair. I'm Vanessa O'Hanlon. Hope you have a Merry Christmas. I'll be back again on Boxing Day. Good night.